Alrighty. All right. So, hi, everybody. My name's Seth, and I'm going to be presenting the Most Wholesome Man Award. So, I'm just going to read off a few quotes first. So, I have a very particular set of skills. And then they go on to say, I will find you, and I will kill you. And without even having to put a name up there, you would know that that's Liam Neeson from Taken. And another quote is, get to the chopper. And that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we already all know him. Uh, and then with great power comes great responsibility. And that was said by Uncle Ben in Spider-Man. And so what all these quotes have in common? Well, obviously they're all movie quotes, but each of these movies is a really popular older movie that catapulted these people into their limelight. And we often associate those words and phrases with them. Like I was saying, I probably wouldn't even have had to put the photos of them or their names up there for you to even know that it was them. You would probably just know. And it just is a great way for us to relate to them, and it's really cool. But obviously, these movies define them and not their characters. But when we see these actors doing these acts of generosity to people, donating their time, their money, or resources, or whatever to the public, it's really cool for us to see that when the media shows that. But what about the actions of those that go unnoticed? Well, that's exactly what the award I am presenting seeks to accomplish. The Most Wholesome Man Award, it seeks to recognize those who normally wouldn't be recognized, um, and specifically their tenacity, as well as a positive impact that they have on society. And so, what I mean by that is when you think of the word wholesome, you think of all encompassing, or, yeah, it's complete in a way. And so if you actually search it up in the internet, it'll say mentally, spiritually, and physically well-being. Like, in well-being is what the word wholesome means. And so if we take a more modern application of that, we might see that somebody is like financially stable, is a good role model, and just is a genuine person. And that's what I would consider a more wholesome person. And so when I made this award, I thought of Keanu Reeves immediately. I just thought of him specifically. And I almost called this award the Most Breathtaking Man Award, just because there's this meme floating around on the internet of him just saying, "You're breathtaking," or "You're breathtaking." So I just thought it was almost, but I thought wholesome was a bit more suiting. So why would I be qualified to give Keanu Reeves this award? Well, I'm just as qualified as any civilian would be to give a prominent figure an award like this. I've watched Keanu Reeves movies for years. I remember watching Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and like when I was in elementary school, and it was so hysterical. Oh my gosh! Um, but also, I just have this enormous respect for him as an individual. I think I've watched a lot of interviews with him, and I just think that he's such a genuine and well-spoken person. He doesn't talk like he's some high up figure. He talks to you like you're a regular human being. And then also, I used to be a member of NHS when I was in high school, and they always instilled in us, like, donate your time, always volunteer, woo woo. And I just always not sympathize, that's the wrong word, but appreciate people who donate their time, and that's exactly what Keanu Reeves does. So, regarding his perseverance, Keanu Reeves' father left at a really young age, and so that made him have to turn to things like hockey and martial arts just as like a hobby, or an outlet for him to turn to get his mind off of those negative thoughts of his father not being there. And then he also turned to acting as another one of his hobbies, and he was. It just goes to show that if you persevere, a lot of great things can come from it. And like I was saying, he turned to acting and was met with great success. This is like 30 movies right here that just show how successful and versatile he is as an actor. And that's not even all of his movies. This is just the stuff that's on Netflix right now, not even any of the movies he's been in completely. As you can see, there's not even John Wick up there yet. So he started his career in River's Edge, and then went on to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and the Matrix trilogy. Those are three of the really popular movies of Keanu Reeves. And with each of those, he gained successfully more and more money in each of them. They were all really popular movies, but each of them grossed more than the next. It's insane. And finally, society's perception of Keanu has always been positive. Even though he's an actor in action movies, and how I was saying earlier, how we may associate, people being like a BA person just because they're in an action movie, he's actually seen as this like real down to earth role model to people. And to society as a whole. And there's this, actually, what I think is really cool about him is he has this respect for women. He won't even put his hand on their back when he's taking a photo with them. And that's because he doesn't want them to get the wrong idea, and he doesn't want anybody taking pictures like paparazzi to skew the image or anything like that. And so I just think it's awesome to show that kind of respect for a woman. And the last two things is just how benevolent he is with his money. He shows that money really doesn't matter to him. It's just like he just wants to be a normal guy, and he donates a lot of his money to cancer research, as well as one time he took a 90% pay cut on a movie and just gave it all back to the workers of the movie, because he was like, well, why should I be making all this money when people are doing just as much work, if not more, than me? And so it's just crazy. He only got paid 10% for a movie. And so the legacy that I think he leaves for people is a legacy of generosity and selflessness, just because he's always been so benevolent and just so giving to people. And also he shows that when you persevere, great things can come from that. And then he also is finally a role model, both financially and morally. Like I just said, he doesn't care about money. He wants to just be a normal guy, and he'd much rather help others out. And that, I think, just goes to show his moral compass should be a role model as well. And so the categories that this award highlights most is the perseverance, the success, and then society's positive perception of that individual. And I just think that Keanu Reeves perfectly highlights each of these and is a perfect example of each of them. And that's why I believe he should be the recipient of the Most Wholesome Man Award. Thank you. And then these are my references.